Welcome back to part 2 of the Friday the 13th marathon. So far we've covered the first 3 films in the series. We saw the origins of the Voorhees family murder spree, and we saw 3 different versions of Jason. So, the marathon must go on. We have 3 more Friday films to get through tonight. 3 more to get through. So once again, grab a beverage of choice, grab some snacks, because tonight we are kicking things off with Friday the 13th, the final chapter. The final chapter. And we all know this is certainly not the final chapter. Alright, let's roll the film.
I don't want to scare anyone, but I'm going to give it to you straight about Jason. His body was never recovered from the lake after he drowned. And if you listen to the old-timers in town, they'll tell you he's still out there.
Camp Crystal Lake is jinxed.
It's got a death curse.
Some folks claim they've even seen him, right in this area.
Who's that? Oh, my. What are you doing out in this mess?
The girl who survived that night at Camp Blood, that Friday the 13th, she claimed she saw him.
The boy, is he dead too?
We didn't find any boy.
Then he's still there.
She disappeared 2 months later. Legend has it that Jason saw his mother beheaded that night. And he took his revenge. A revenge that he'll continue to seek if anyone ever enters his wilderness again.
Jason was my son, and today is his birthday. That's a good boy. Good Jason.
Jason's out there.
So part 3 was actually supposed to be the end of the trilogy, but they made way too much money. It was way too successful to stop there. So here we are at part 4, the final chapter. And if you're a little hazy on the details of the last films, the final chapter begins with a nice little recap scene of the last 3 films. It's told around a campfire, which lends this urban legend feel to the Jason legend. It's a really, really cool scene, and it really gets you in the mood. So at the end of part 3, we saw Jason lying dead in a barn after taking an axe to the head. Jason's body is recovered from the barn and brought to the morgue.
This time he got 7 kids and 3 bikers. This time they got him.
Wait.
Help them.
Where the most irresponsible mortician in the world is about to look over his body. The guy is eating a donut over the corpse of Jason while checking him in.
This your last?
Got one more over there.
Real cute girl.
Was.
Well, she still is.
And he also makes weird comments about the girls that were killed, and he tries to hook up with one of the nurses. And
I have a headache, Axel. For you, I always have a headache.
Oh, I can fix that. Meet me in the cold room. I'm closing up for the night.
What do you say? Okay.
And he's even watching this weird workout porn video.
Oh, no.
And of course, Jason, not really being dead, wakes up and starts killing again.
Get lost, Axel. I'm busy. I've had more than enough of you for one night. Read my lips. Leave me alone!
So, after that introduction, we are introduced to a new set of characters, which is a theme in every movie, is we kind of get a new set of characters. And in this one, in my opinion, they actually make you care about the characters. We have the Jarvis family with little Tommy. He's into special effects and movie makeup and monsters and stuff, and he makes his own little masks and stuff. It's really cool. He's an adorable kid.
Tommy, turn that down. Mom, I got 98,000. How many robots is that? 35. Oh, honey, get a haircut.
Oh, Ma.
That's a nice mask.
Well, I have to get a haircut.
You're getting pretty terrific at making those things.
Thanks. I just customized it.
You also have his older sister that lives with him and his mother. And then, of course, we have our vacationing teens who are renting the place next door. And this group of friends are actually very likable in this one. This scene with the character Jim, played by Crispin Glover, is one that stands out to me when I think about this movie. It establishes that he's pretty shy and kind of innocent. He broke up with his girlfriend and he's trying to figure out exactly why it happened. And you kind of just, you feel for the guy.
You should have treated her right. I mean, that girl wanted to be treated right.
I did. I treated her right. That's what's driving me so crazy. I mean, can you figure that? What the fuck happened?
Let me put it in the old computer.
No, I'm serious about this.
Yeah, the computer don't lie. Now, let's see. What? It says you're a dead fuck.
What? A dead fuck?
A lousy lay. You know? A dead
Oh, I see. Oh, don't hold it back from me, Doc. I can take it. Give it to me straight.
I did not say it. The computer did.
Yeah, well, there is no computer.
Aha! And there's no Betty either.
God, I'm horny.
Jim really is the character you root for in this one, and you just want to see his romantic life succeed, and you want to see him get the girl in the end. He has this one scene where they're having a party at the house, and a girl asks him to dance, and he like improvises the craziest dance I've ever seen. He kind of looks like his body is malfunctioning, and he's just freaking out.
Would you care to dance? It's good. Oh, good.
Don't ask me to stay. Don't think you got it made. No. You're wrong. 'Cause you can't make it anymore.
It is the greatest thing I've ever seen. And naturally, Jason makes his way back to the woods and starts killing again. And in this movie, the kills are actually brutal. They are absolutely insane. Tom Savini, who did the special effects in the first movie, came back, and after his experience on other films, he brought a lot to the table in this movie, and it's absolutely insane.
Drop my bar of soap, old buddy. Let me get in here with the old pal. Ho, 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 ho,
The kills were so intense, in fact, that the MPAA made them cut back on a lot of the kills. So in the final version, they cut out so much just to be able to get this film to be rated R. That's insane. They were that realistic and that brutal that they had to cut them out that much. It sucks. After the others are taken out, it's only Tommy and his sister left. The two of them have to survive against Jason.
All the doors locked? Yes. Go get me a hammer and nails right now. Is he here? Yes.
So, to beat Jason, Tommy gets in the monster's head. He shaves his head, he puts some makeup on, he looks super creepy, and he comes out and Jason's kind of confused.
Jason! Remember me, Jason? Jason, don't you remember? Remember, Jason. Jason, remember.
And then Tommy brutally murders Jason with a machete. And yes, this is absolutely crazy, and he finally kills Jason. Machete through the face. And the creepiest part of this whole thing is that the film ends with Tommy just staring creepily into the camera. It's just really off-putting, and it's really kind of creepy. Now, if you can believe it, the final chapter was supposed to be the final film in the series. But once again, it was a huge hit, and the series had this new life breathed into it from the Tommy Jarvis plotline. People wanted to see where that was going to go. After all, it was kind of hinting that he would be the next Jason at the end with that creepy look into the camera. Part 4, I think, is one of the best in the series. It has all the elements from the other three, but just perfected, and the gore's really good, the characters are likable, they're fun, and the movie just moves along at a really good pace, and it has a really complete arc, and it feels good. Watch part 4 if you haven't seen it. Check it out. Next, we have part 5, otherwise known as Friday the 13th, The New Beginning. A bloody, sleazy movie directed by a former porn director, and you'll see why later. This one picks up years later, and Tommy, due to his past trauma, has been institutionalized. It all takes place at the institution/farm, and all of our other characters in this film are patients there as well. He keeps having these visions of Jason everywhere he goes, and he's really on edge, and he's actually super intense in this movie. You really get the feeling that he did kill Jason as a kid, and now he's this really tortured soul. We also have one of my favorite scenes in any movie ever. It's ridiculous. We're gonna have to talk about it. It's the scene where a guy is just offering people a candy bar and nobody wants it.
Hi, Vic.
Get lost.
Come on, don't be like that. I'm gonna help you with the wood today. And anyway, I got 2 chocolate bars, see? You know, to be perfectly honest with you, I never really chopped wood before, but it certainly looks like fun. Leave me alone! Here, Vic, want a bite? Here, I'll just put it over here. And later on, when you're hungry, you can have it. Well, if that's the way you feel, forget it, Vic. Just forget it. But I think you're really out of line.
This is insane. This is insane. This kill has nothing to do with Jason. This is the first kill in the franchise that's just some random guy. Yeah, this guy just goes fucking crazy and throws an axe into his back. They made this chocolate bar guy out to be the most sad and pathetic person ever. He has like chocolate stains on his mouth. He's just innocently walking around he's just trying to give people some chocolate, and then he just gets fucking axed in the back, murdered for no reason at all. It's so excessive. I love it. I love it. That's a theme with this movie, just randomness. A lot of randomness and a lot of over-the-top characters. A lot of nudity, a lot of just everyone's getting naked in this movie, and not to mention over-the-top kills as well. One of the most brutal kills in the movie is after this couple had sex in the woods. The guy has to go wash off in the lake for some reason, and then Jason just puts a belt around his head and uses a stick to wind his head tightened against a tree. And it's probably one of the most painful, creative, disturbing kills I've ever seen. This film really has everything. There's a girl just robot dancing in her room by herself. It's pretty sweet moves, but you just watch it for an excessively long amount of time, this girl robot dancing. This movie is really all over the place in a good way. It's just completely insane, and the only negative I can think of is that Tommy's storyline kind of takes a back seat to everything. They kind of hinted that he would become next Jason, but they didn't really follow through in this one, and he's kind of just a character along for the ride with all these other crazy characters. Now, spoiler warning if you don't want to know who the killer is, because remember, Jason died in the last movie, so the killer is the paramedic. It turns out the guy that got killed was the paramedic's son. And that inspired him to go on a giant mass killing spree and start killing more people than just that one person died. He's just massacring people. So all the killings, everyone that dies in this entire movie happens because of the candy bar guy. The one cool thing about this reveal is that it further reinforces that Jason really is dead, and that they meant that in the last film, and that this is just a copycat killer. I like the idea of someone being a copycat killer, trying to use the Jason killings to their own advantage. It's pretty interesting. I thought the New Beginning title was appropriate for this one. And this film ends with yet another teaser that Tommy will be the next Jason. This one overall is really entertaining, and it's pretty funny unintentionally, I think. Maybe just for that one scene. I find so much humor in that scene. It's just so ridiculous that it's worth watching for that alone. So definitely check out Part 5. And this brings us to the next film, Friday the 13th, Part 6, Jason Lives. You can tell by the title of the film that our boy is back. Starts with great atmosphere, and it really sets the tone for the whole film. And you get that classic horror feeling from this. So we pick up with Tommy, played by a different actor this time, coming to the graveyard to find Jason's corpse. He really needs to confirm that Jason is definitely dead. So they dig up his body.
I don't know how you talked me into this, Tommy. Hell, I must be crazy. You know, if the institution ever found out about this, they would haul our butts back in and straitjacket them. Permanent.
You didn't have to come, Oz. This is between me and Jason.
I know. But I still don't get the therapy here. All you need to know is Jason's dead, right? Seeing his corpse ain't gonna stop the hallucinations.
Seeing it won't, but destroying it will. Jason belongs in hell. I'm gonna see he gets there.
They see Jason's decayed remains, and then Tommy starts stabbing the shit out of them with a iron rod from a fence. But as he's stabbing it into the body, a bolt of lightning comes down and hits the rod, and it kind of conducts some life into Jason, resurrects him, Frankenstein style, which is pretty awesome. I mean, this movie already had this classic horror feel in the beginning, and that has to be paying homage to classic horror right there by resurrecting the monster with a bolt of lightning and bringing him back to life. This opening is one of the most iconic moments in the entire series. This is something I think of when I think of Friday the 13th. But then it immediately transitions into a James Bond spoof. Jason walks out and does the gun barrel thing that James Bond always does. Amazing. A lot of fans agree that this is the first time in the series that Jason is an actual zombie. It wasn't really clear what he was before because he drowned, but he came back and he had skin, and he just looked like a big dude, but now he is definitely a moldy, rotten corpse. Jason definitely feels a lot more supernatural in this film and a lot more dangerous than he ever was. He even has that iconic darkness in his eyes where you just stare beyond the mask and it's just pitch black. I love that. So from here on out in the series, Jason is now a supernatural zombie monster, no longer a jacked bald dude in the woods. Jason's a lot scarier now. You see him walking around the woods at night, it's super scary, and then it's also reflected in the kills that he's a lot more dangerous. I think the coolest kill in this movie is when Jason breaks into an RV, kills the driver, and then emerges from the wreck like a badass, like an action movie hero. This is probably the point when people started caring more about Jason and less about the people in the movies.
Jake, listen to this!
Because this is too badass. Another first for the series is that, along with our new group of camp counselors, there's also kids now at the camp, which is something we've never seen before. We've never actually seen kids at the camp.
Does he think I'm a farthead?
And one interesting thing, there's a scene where Jason seems like he's about to kill a child, but he doesn't. He just stops and walks away. So, I don't know, it just adds a little something to the character. Maybe he doesn't kill children. Some rules that they have. I don't know, Jason has rules apparently. Jason is just overall a very scary force in this movie. Seeing him move through the camp, the budget was better, so everything just looks nicer. You also get to see him get shot for the first time ever when he's facing off against the sheriff, and he just gets up like it was nothing. Tommy devises a plan to lure Jason back to the lake and tie a boulder around him with a chain and just drop him into the lake, drowning him. Or kind of keeping him there. They have one final duel out in the middle of the lake, and Jason gets wrapped up with the boulder and gets his head chopped with the propeller of a boat. Jason is finally dead. Except he isn't, because they show his eyes open at the end, and we need to make more of these movies. Part 6 is a pretty good movie, and it has a lot of good horror atmosphere. The director went on record saying that he wanted the movie to be able to be watched in black and white and look like a classic horror film. So Tommy defeats Jason, and he is now sunk at the bottom of the lake. We are at the halfway point of our marathon. We've seen the first arc of Jason, and we just went through the Tommy Jarvis trilogy, is what some people call it. And now we are kind of entering the zombie Jason arc, and it's only going to get weirder from here. So thanks for watching, and we have 6 more movies to go. So strap in. It's all downhill from here. In a good way. No, it's not downhill as in the quality of the movies, but but more the momentum of the marathon than the quality of the movies. Anyway, we'll see you next time.
I want to make love with you.